Hi everybody, I'm going to show you a little bit about using CloneStamp in case this is something that's going to help you. CloneStamp is going to be useful for editing something out of your photograph. So we're going to pretend today that I don't want this line that you can see between the paper that I used as a very basic simple background, that I want it to look like a solid color. And there is a way to do that. So with CloneStamp I can kind of blend some of that out. It may not look perfect because we're not professionals, and that is perfectly fine. However, we do want it to disguise enough where most people aren't even going to pay attention that there was ever something there you didn't want. So when you have your file, usually you have just one layer. This is layers right here. And we have it labeled as background. A background layer is locked. You can see a lock icon there. That means there's not much you can do in terms of moving it around and changing it, but you can double click on the blank space of this layer and name it something else. So we can name it original or just keep it at layer 0 and hit OK. This is now a layer I can move and manipulate a little bit more. I can always lock it again if I needed to. But using CloneStamp, first you need to, of course, find that tool. So we're going to go ahead and get CloneStamp. If you are on this tool that looks like it has a crisscross, that's called Pattern Stamp. To get more tools on any of these, you're going to right-click or hold your left mouse down, drag over and let go on the tool you want to use. So CloneStamp, there we go, and you can see that this round shape here, that's actually our paintbrush. You can change that by going to the right of the letter P on your keyboard. You have brackets on your keyboard that will change the brush size automatically. So the one directly to the right of the P will make it smaller, the one next to that will make it larger, and we can change the hardness and softness. You want a hard brush. You're going to use the Alt button, and this is going to come up right now if I accidentally click because I'm not using the correct key. I will use Alt on my keyboard that's next to the space bar. So holding Alt, you'll see my tool changes to this crisscross. I'm going to select the space within my brush. I may need to resize my brush. I'm going to select the space that I would like to choose, something that's near where I'm trying to fix it. And you'll notice that what it's doing is stamping a whole new copy of the picture in a different spot. I'm going to undo Control Z. So if I do that just a little bit, let's take a sample and just overlap this line. It's now covering up that line. Now if you start seeing things you don't want when you're painting, just take a new sample, Alt click, and cover up that space that wasn't getting covered. So it doesn't look perfect, and what we could do, oh, be careful of your color. You'll notice this dark color here is not really helping us right now. It's kind of noticeable a bit more. There's a smudge tool you can use. This is kind of a basic way for you guys to edit, and it looks like a kind of like a hand with a finger pointed out. You might have this set to blur tool or sharpen, so smudge is here in case you can't see it. And you can start kind of painting over and blending that harsh line in. So I'll go back to my CloneStamp and start doing that. So I'm going to make a tutorial for you of how to do something a little more serious than, say, just pasting over a solid background. But this may help you edit some simple things in the background. If I zoom in with Control plus, plus is by backspace, hold my space and click and drag to move. Let's say there's a little break in my clay that I don't want. A simple way to fix that is simply go to your smudge tool and smudge over that space a little bit. So now that I can get in there, I'll show you, resize my brush to be small. I don't want to make any big smudges because that's going to be noticeable. Less is more in this situation. So you can see these little scrapes and scratches, and that's just from maybe moving it around. And if I start painting with my smudge tool, it blends those away, makes the clay look really clear. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing this for all of your pictures. It's going to be a lot of work. But if there's one picture where you notice, like here with my red horse, there's a lot of clay breaking on his leg because when I was moving his leg to position him, it started to crack, then I could just fix it in this one picture. Notice my brush is small. I'm making quick little paint movements. I'm not making any big drastic ones. And it's much more subtle and less noticeable than when I zoom out. People aren't even going to know that that clay was broken.